Welcome, everybody. It's your marriage and relationship strategist, Eric and Dr. Sakisha Heilig, and we're super excited. We are in the midst of season 2, the Couplepreneur Business Blueprint Edition, and we're so excited to have you joining us here this evening. Now, you know we have been catering to our couplepreneurs, and guess what? We have even more in store for you this evening. And we're in the midst of celebrating International Women's Month. So this is just icing on the cake. I know you're excited. I know you've seen the flyers and the posts, and you're excited about our guest this evening. Let me tell you a little bit before we bring her up. So you saw the post, and I said, I know you are ready to come and get the nuggets of wisdom that are going to be dropped in the room this evening. Have your pen and your paper handy to take copious notes, because I know you're ready. If you're a couple in business, whether you're working in the business by yourself or with your significant other, you can always use tools and strategies that are going to help you take your relationship and your business to the next level. And we have the most amazing guest, and she's here to help you do just that. This evening, we have joining us Dr. Cozette White. Now, Dr. Cozette White is a nationally recognized tax and accounting strategist. She's an international speaker, a best-selling author, and philanthropist. Dr. White brings more than 20 years of experience from corporate America. In her role, she was responsible for the financial affairs of the organization and focused on a broad range of financial, operational, strategic, and executive leadership issues impacting the organization. Dr. White helps entrepreneurs and individuals make wealth a priority by creating tangible results that make a meaningful difference in their lives. She has a passion for helping people just like you and I gain clarity, focus, and take control of their finances with confidence. She's been coined the financial physician, and as a result of her unparalleled ability to empower her clients to ditch debt and develop a plan to create the kind of wealth that leaves a secure financial legacy. She's able to diagnose negative money stories and provide a cure to transform limited belief to the sky's the limit. She prescribes just the right financial prescription to boost your financial health. Dr. White is a resident money matter tax expert for Fox 40. Her advice has been called upon by CBS This Morning, ABC, and NBC television stations. She's a recurring voice to millions, making regular appearances in various national media outlets, including Black Enterprise, Forbes, Women of Faith, Upscale, The Huffington Post, and countless newspapers across the globe. Dr. White is a 6-time best-selling author, and she was awarded the President's Lifetime Achievement Award by President Barack Obama. She's the founder and CEO of My Financial Home Enterprises, a certified woman-owned financial firm. Please help me welcome to the Marriage Can Win Business Blueprint Edition, our financial physician, Dr. Cozette White. Dr. White, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing fantastic. Thank you so much for those accolades. That I'm sitting here on the other side smiling. You read them so well. I'm like, wow, is that actually me? But I am doing well. I'm honored to be here tonight with your husband and yourself to speak to your guests, to talk to the couples, to talk to the business owners about what does it really look to balance life and work and to get it together, to get our money game together. So I'm excited. Thank you so much.
I love the way you put that. Get your money game together. So for those of you out there listening, if you've been struggling in your finances, and we're always talking about that great divide in relationships, communication, finances, and sex, well, guess what? We're going to be diving deep into the financial aspect this evening. So let's get your pen and your paper handy. That's right, honey.
Finance without romance. Romance without
yes,
finance. Yes,
no romance without finance.
You gotta have the finance.
But you know what? One of the topics that we're going to be talking about is the 3 pillars for profit And I just wanted to know if you could take a moment and just share with our listeners, what was that moment that drove you, or was that
Defining
that
moment.
defining moment
Yes.
that said, yes, I want to help others with their finances. I want to help them build generational wealth and leave a legacy. Do you mind sharing that with our listeners?
Yes, I love my story. So my story, you all, it began some years ago when I actually received my very first W-2. Now we're in the midst of tax season, so it goes hand in hand. But my very first job, I got that W-2 and I went to my grandmother, who would have been 101 this couple of days ago. But lo and behold, she said, baby, I need for you to go upstairs, get some paper, get a pencil, and we're going to do this return together. So it was in that particular moment that I realized I got some money back, and I went to school and started sharing that opportunity, or the fact that I had actually did the return with my sorority sisters. And it was like, can you do mine? Can you do mine? But to substantiate that, I remember the very first job I got, you all. I remember going to work saying, there is no way I'm going to be doing this forever and a day, getting up, coming to work, doing this for someone else. And I've always had that desire to truly help others. And when I started doing tax returns, I started seeing that there was some irresponsibility, some lack of accountability with money with our people. And of course, they were grown men and women, but they just did not have their finances together. And just through having conversation with our people, I realized there was a great demand. There was a need for individuals such as myself to help not only individuals, but help business owners grow their organization so that they could be some of the unicals that I used to work with, some of the larger corporations that I used to work with. And it got to a point where I was like, it's time for me to wash my hands and help our people grow and leave a legacy. You know, what is a legacy for one individual is totally a different legacy for someone else, but it has to start right here at home. Hence, my financial home. It starts right here with the education that we have and the education that we give our young ones. So it was just a burning desire not to be in corporate, but to also say, hey, let me help our people.
Wow.
You know, we do find a lot of people who that they make it financially, they're successful financially, but they don't necessarily want to give back and share some of that wealth of knowledge. But I know that's something that Sakisha and I both are passionate about, is educating and empowering and encouraging individuals, couples, to build and protect wealth, not just for their current generation, but their future generation. And so it's great to see a fellow person that shares that passion, you know?
Yeah, it's important. You know, my thing is, it is important for us that have been so, I'm gonna say, privy to have this wealth of knowledge. It's important for us, in my personal opinion, to reach back and pull the next individual back. Whether that's a child, whether that's a grown adult that is just unknowledgeable about some of the things that we know. We take a lot for granted because it's all up here and it may seem easy to us, but to others, they're over in a corner struggling. They're struggling with getting their finances together. They're struggling with understanding the concept of what's an S Corp, what's an LLC. They're struggling with the concept of me saying, I need you to load your documents up to the portal. And they're like, well, I just don't know. What do you need? What documents is it? And so for me, I have to educate. I have to educate, because if not, I in the process will get frustrated as well. So I have to educate my people.
Yeah. And what's amazing is that when you hear the passion in your voice, and I think, to me, that's one of the driving factors, that when we accumulate this wealth of knowledge, that we take the time or demonstrate the initiative to give back and say, look, this is some information that I was privy to. And just like it blessed me, I want it to bless you as well, because
Yes.
we want other families to be able to build and protect wealth. And when we're talking about that, we're not just talking about houses and cars and stuff. We're talking about being able to generate wealth that's going to sustain us far beyond what's going on right now. If you think about once this pandemic hit, because I know I was in the healthcare industry for 20 years, when you lose that 9 to 5 job, that's no longer a guarantee. So what happens to that family that's dependent upon that paycheck every 2 weeks or every week? What about accumulating these emergency funds? What about investing for your future and going far beyond just what people deem as successful, if that makes sense?
Yes.
I think go ahead.
I was going to say, even the fact that we're in this pandemic, and I want to give just a scenario for our viewers, for our listeners who are out there. I have one client that created or accumulated just over the last couple of days because of some taxpayers got stimulus payments. She accumulated $9,800. So as I said earlier today when I was on Fox and I was saying, what would you do with $9,800? Yes, some people are in a situation where they need that money to make up maybe for rent. However, we still have taxpayers, business owners who are still bringing in revenue, bringing in income into their households. So when we talk about generating wealth and we talk about leaving a legacy, why not take a portion of that $9,800, do something positive with it, invest in some stock, set it aside for savings, maybe put it into a traditional or a Roth IRA, things of that nature, instead of going out and buying it on something that in 6 months, you won't know what you spent that money on. You won't recall what you spent that money on. So why not do something that will last for a lifetime? Whether that means starting a 529 plan for one of your grandchildren. That's what we talk about when we're talking about leaving a legacy. Why not invest in an insurance plan? An insurance plan for one of the smaller children where you can, if something were to happen to you or whomever, you're leaving something that they can cash out on, a life insurance policy, and start something. Buy a home, buy a restaurant, buy some stock, buy something that they can live off. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about building wealth, when we're talking about leaving a legacy, those types of things. So when we talk about this in the context of business and relationship, marriage, these are the types of conversations that we should be having in the bedroom or that we should be having when we're at the kitchen table having breakfast, lunch, or dinner. You know what I mean?
Oh yes, definitely. And because that's something that we do when we work with couples. But there's a hot buzz out there right now, and especially on Clubhouse. You hear a lot about cryptocurrency, investing in cryptocurrency. What is your insight on cryptocurrency investments?
I have to say, in all honesty, to you all as well as to the listeners, I have I have shied away from cryptocurrency. So I probably will not be the best person to have an engaging conversation about the cryptocurrency. And I'm just being really honest with you. But you are absolutely correct. It is hot in the moment.
Yeah. And I think it's really important. I think you hit the nail on the head when you started talking about the importance of these type of conversations, because when we talk about relationships and we talk to couples, we remind them that you're planning a wedding for a day, but are you planning for a marriage to last a lifetime? What are you planning to do with the relationship financially? Your relationships have got to go far beyond, just the external appearances. What do you have in place in case something like this happens, a pandemic? Do you have enough money saved up? Or have you created a plan, like you mentioned, for insurance if something happens to one of you or the both of you? What is your plan going forward? Because one of the things about this pandemic, that this was an opportunity for people to create businesses from home. So you're not dependent on that paycheck, or at least start, because I've heard it said, they say you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Exactly.
It's always going to be another time or another season where you could do something. But when you look back a year from now, you'll wish you would have started. So in the midst of this pandemic, for those that may have lost a job, that may have been, furloughed or something like that, this was an opportune moment to launch that business, to create that LLC, to create that website. You have people that are experts in that field. And because, some of us were speakers and, we didn't have those in-person stages, but at home, willing to pour into others and help them get that business off the ground. So for those of you that receive that stimulus money, be mindful of that as well. Learn to think about generating additional streams of income.
And I like what you're saying too, because this is something that Sakisha and I do with our clients and couples, is that we do talk about, hey, you got some extra money, fund a life insurance policy, fund the one that will actually grow in cash value and give you 3 benefits, because most everyone out there is so familiar with that term life insurance policy that doesn't do anything for the living, only for the death, So, and that's exactly what you said. With people who have just started, they just got a new childbirth, that's the best time to start funding a life insurance policy that grows. So by the time they're 16, they have some tax-free income that they can pull from and go pay for the college education, and further along, help with a down payment on a home.
Yeah.
Right. Another thing we want to think about also, being that you all do the counseling, is think about it. And I know we had this brief conversation, but if one of the spouses is not involved in the business, what do you do? What are you putting in place in the event that something should happen to you and your spouse is relying on that source of income, the source of income from the business? Are you planning for that? Are you planning for a succession, an exit plan, an exit strategy? What are you doing? Do you have those things set up? Do you have those conversations? Again, these are conversations that should be going on now rather than later. And even more so right now, given that we're in this global pandemic and any and everything could happen to either of you. You know what I'm saying? So those are all things that you need to have, those types of conversations when you're thinking about business, when you're thinking about marriage, two couples. What will happen? What will happen to the family? What will happen to the other spouse should you get sick, you get ill, you can't run the business? How are we going to continue the business? Is it going to shut down? What's going to happen?
And that's really, really important. That is key. So I hope that all of the viewers, that you are taking notes, and that this is the purpose of all of these interviews, is to stimulate a mindset shift. There's some of you may be watching and say, okay, I understand that. But for some of you that are watching, you might be like, oh my goodness, I never really thought about that. Exactly. So start making notes and start having these conversations. We've had couples reach out and say, oh gosh, since the pandemic, my spouse is in the house like all the time. They're always here. Yes. Well, honestly, this is the opportune moment to have those conversations. When you have that one spouse that's super busy all the time, and now they're there and you have their attention. You're not competing with the cell phone. You're not competing with the email. Start having those conversations and finding out, where's their head out? Do we have a plan in place for our business? Do we have a plan in place for succession if something happens, if we have a chronic illness, critical illness, something along those lines? So let's start opening up the lines of communication, far beyond what's going on TV. Let's have some of these conversations going on in our houses so we can understand it's enough looking and saying, okay, well, this is how this half lives. No, you're now privy to this information. So what are you going to do with it? So I think that is really, really key.
It is. It's definitely. This is the time, especially like you said, when especially when we were quarantined for home. This is the time to really start researching, planning, and then implementing. Yeah. ACT.
Oh yeah, that's an acronym you hear us use a lot of times. ACT, which means action changes things. A lot of times, as believers, we're exercising our faith, and we're talking about,
I'm going to
okay,
write that one down.
yeah, we prayed about it. We're like, God's going to do it. Okay, but it does say you got to put some action behind that
Action
faith, faith
behind the scenes.
without works. So
That's
you
right.
do have to do some work. That business plan is not going to just drop out of the sky into your lap. That money is not going to just drop into your lap. You are going to have to do some work. So start thinking about it. A lot of people were looking at businesses. Everyone does, you don't jump from this point to this point overnight. It's usually a natural progression. And why there's no better time than the present to start now.
It's got
But
to be
I
a
know we
starting
can
point.
keep going on. I want to get into these three pillars
Yes, tell
because
us
we
more
want to
about these
make
three
sure while
pillars.
we've got Dr. Cozette White here that we take advantage of this opportunity to just glean from her wisdom.
Right. So let's talk about those three pillars. I always say that it is consistency, our customers, and our competition. But before we even jump into those, I always start with the three P's: understanding our people, our organization. Though that's the foundation of what makes us. They need to understand our mission, our vision, and they need to be in a position to carry that out so that our customers clearly understand how we can serve them. And when our customers understand how we can serve them, then of course that ultimately helps the organization. It helps the profitability. We also want to talk about our product. What is it that we are offering? Does our customers and our clients know specifically every single thing that our organization offers? 9 times out of 10, our customers or clients don't truly understand the full ecosystem, as I like to say, as to what we're offering. I offer a service. I can guarantee you, every single one of my clients, they don't understand what we offer. I know that because there are oftentimes when a client comes to me at the top of the new year, and they may say, I started a business. And I'm always looking at them like, really? Well, how did you start it? Where did you go to? How did you start it? And they will typically say, I did a service called LegalZoom. And that's when I'll usually say, well, we do this. So understanding, helping your clients or customers understand your products will help improve your bottom line. Again, had my customer known that we set up business formation, we do nonprofits, they would have had the opportunity to come to us, get a quote, and probably use us. But again, if they don't know, then they're not going to ask. If they think that we only offer services such as taxes and accounting are traditional, then they're not going to ask me about other things. We also need to make sure that we have processes in place that makes it easy for our clients. Okay, I'm going to say that again. We need processes in place that make it easy for our clients and or our customers. And you keep hearing me say clients or customers because a customer, in my personal opinion, is someone who is not going to come to you often for your product. A customer may be a one-time sale. A client, you're treating your client a little different. The service that you are providing to your client is much different as well. Okay, so you want to make sure that your people understand the organization because they are the foundation. They are the first contact to your clients or customers. You want to ensure that your customers and clients understand what products and services you offer. And then you want to ensure that the processes that you have in your organization are user-friendly, easy enough for your clients or customers to get to. Okay.
Oh wow.
Once
I
we
love that.
once we have those in place, that's all geared towards our customers, you all. Okay. If our customers have no clue what we offer, all of our products, if it's bras, panties, if we sell socks, if we sell pantyhose, if it's airplanes, toys, if they don't know every single thing that we sell, then how are they going to come back to us and provide us with, buying from us, give us service? Okay, so we must know all of that, and that equates to our customers. Whatever we do, to all of you, to our couples, to our other business owners that are watching, we must remain consistent.
Yes.
We must remain consistent in the market. Whether that product we have, we must consistently sell that product. We must consistently make sure that our message is clear and we are speaking directly to our ideal client. If we're selling toys, we need to be speaking to parents, right?
Yes.
We need to be speaking to the parents, because the parents and the grandparents and the aunts and the uncles, because they are the ones that's purchasing the toys for the children. If we sell hair product and it's specifically for women, we need to ensure that that we are consistent with our messaging, and that we are marketing specifically to, whether it be Caucasian women, African American women. If our product is for natural hair, for curly hair, for straight hair, for permed hair, we need to ensure that our message is clear.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're missing the point. And again, we're talking about the 3 C's to profitability. How can we increase our bottom line? I cannot tell you all how many times I bring on brand new clients as CFO clients. And when we get to talking about profit margins, when we get to talking about things that they are missing, we look at their KPIs. A lot of times they're missing the mark because their product that they're offering or the service that they're offering, it's not consistent in the marketplace. And when we do just a little switch, a little shift can have a huge impact on our bottom line. A huge impact to our bottom line.
Absolutely.
If you track anyone out there on social media that you see on a regular basis, and you see their marketing or you see their post presented in front of you often enough, it's presented in front of you and you remember it because of the messaging, maybe because of the color, maybe because of the brand, but there's some consistency to it, if you understand where I'm going with it. And that consistency is speaking directly to their ideal client, which is impacting the bottom line, the profitability of the organization. Just little tweaks, you all, can help shift the trajectory of where you want to be. If your goal is to meet the pivotal point of 100,000, it's a little shift. If it's 250, it's a shift. I'm not going to say it's a little shift, because going from 100 to 250 is a shift. It's not only a shift in talking about our customers, but it's a shift internally in your organization. It's a shift in growing and bringing on key individuals that can help you grow. Okay, so consistency, customers, and understanding your competition. What is your competition doing? What can you do differently to stand out as the expert? What can you do to stand out as the company that offers the premier product, that offers excellent customer service? Whatever that looks like, you need to tippy toe, and you need to do a little bit of espionage, and you need to see what your competitors are doing, whether that's competitors on the East Coast, whether that's competitors in another country, whether that's competitors right in your local area. You need to understand what your competitors and your competition is doing.
Okay.
For one example, this Monday, which was, I guess, today's Wednesday, Monday, I had a client say to me, she felt I was charging too much. I expressed my concerns, and I basically said, feel free to shop around. And I said this because I know that I'm right. I said, feel free to shop around. Shop around our local area. Shop around globally. I guarantee you'll come back. I didn't tell her that part, she'll come back, but I guarantee she'll be back. So I say all this to say, if we are looking to increase our bottom line, if we are looking to grow our organization, if we're looking to get a clear understanding of where the money is or where the money is not, then we need to look at our customers. we need to look at our competition, and we need to remain consistent in what we are doing in the marketplace. And not only what we as the CEO are doing, if we have employees, virtual assistants, a virtual team, we need to inspect what we expect.
I like
If we
that.
are not getting what we expect out of our virtual team, then it may be time to say bye-bye. It just may be hire slow, fire fast. Let me say that again. Hire slow, fire fast. Because why keep someone on your team that's not meeting the customer demands, that's not consistent with the marketing? Why? They're not helping the bottom line. We as business owners are in business to make a profit, right? We're not profit organizations. We can if we want to, but we're not. We are profitable organizations, and we want to make sure that, as we talked about earlier, leaving a legacy, we got to be making a profit in order to have the desires that we want. So if someone on your team is not producing to the expectations that you've laid out, hire slow, fire fast.
Ooh.
The longer you keep them on your payroll, the more money is going out the door, right?
Yes.
So fire fast. Bye-bye. No, I'm just kidding. So let me just kind of go over those really quickly. We talked about being consistent. We talked about our customers, and we talked about the competition, knowing what our competition is doing out there. So it all has a direct impact to our bottom line, you all. And these are things that I go through with my CFO clients each and every month when we are going through their sessions that we have, when we review their financial statements, when we review their goals for the month, the quarter, the year, and when we're looking at what key performance indicators are working for them, which ones are not working for them, and which ones we need to tweak to make it happen. Okay.
Wow. I love that. Oh my goodness. That was just amazing. I literally ran out of paper for notes.
and it just makes sense, especially now we talk about employees, but we also talk about coaches and mentors.
Yeah.
And if they're not helping us to bring in, net profit, and increasing our bottom line, I guess we need to fire and hire some new ones.
Yeah, it's not just your employees. I mean, we have to think about it. We are in an environment, all of us, where we hire coaches, we hire consultants, we hire them. And let me take a deep breath. A lot of times, and no fault to any of us, but a lot of times we don't take the time to really ask the appropriate questions of some of the coaches. We don't take the time to see if there's a contract in place before we pay a coach. We don't take the time to do our due diligence. But if things don't go right, it's either we've lost money, and that's money down the drain that has a direct impact on our bottom line. And maybe it could be us. We are not doing our due diligence. If the coach has asked us to do a task, it may take us 2-3 weeks to get back to them when they set a deadline, because we have other life matter situations that are going on. So we got to inspect what we expect too. Not just from others, but we have to do that, and we have to take personal accountability for ourselves as well.
Yeah, now that is amazing. I was sitting here looking at that. So you must inspect what you expect, and you need to hire slow and fire fast. Now those 3 C's and those 3 P's, I sure hope you guys were taking notes. I was so excited about us getting into this conversation. I forgot to tell everyone, if you're listening, make sure you put what city and state you're listening from. And if you're listening to the replay, just put in there #replay. And put in the comment section, what's your key takeaways? Because I'm listening to these 3 C's. I'm listening to the 3 P's. I'm listening to the hire, slow, fire, fast. I'm listening to the fact that you must inspect what you expect. There is so much information that's flowing make sure that you put in the chat box your greatest takeaway. You know, I'm sure we could all put a whole
It's a
lot that
lot
we're
of good
taking
nuggets
away.
out there.
But put in your greatest takeaway, and meaning the one that you're ready to implement right now if you're in business. And even for those that you aren't in business, if you think in terms of those that you're connected with, in terms of, you know, anything regarding your coaches, mentors that you may have hired, people that are on your team, just be mindful of that. That's the purpose of all of these conversations, to help you go to the next level. Because my husband will say it pretty frequently, there's no romance without finance. And
That's
so you
right.
got to make sure that our financial homes are intact as well, because that's one of those situations that can impact the two of you as a couple. You've got, your communication has got to be on point. We talk a lot about expressing what you expect, but I love this now. You need to inspect what you what you expect. So
That's
I
it.
Expect
love
what you
that.
expect. Yeah. You know, I remember a while, some years back, I remember I was in Mary Kay, and I remember a director saying, well, there was a consultant stating that her husband was complaining that she was always away from home. And the director told her, well, I guarantee you, he's probably complaining because you're not making money. But if you start going home and putting the money on the bed, then he probably will not be complaining. He will start smiling and like, okay, baby, that's what I'm talking about. So if we are in business, if it's solo, if it's one and not the other, you have a responsibility to your mate. Your mate, you know, expects for you to bring in the money. Your mate does not expect for you to treat that business as a hobby. I know he or she doesn't. He or
Absolutely.
she respects the business and they want to see it blossom just like you do. So you got to treat these businesses as business, because look at what just happened. You know, a lot of people weren't ready for this global pandemic, a lot of businesses, and they weren't in a position to apply for some of this money, grants, loans that's available to them, simply because they were treating some things like a hobby, like not having a true bank account, like doing cash only, like, you know, stuff like that. So
Yeah,
y'all know what I'm talking about, but but
absolutely.
not necessarily you, but the listeners and the viewers. Some of you guys probably, you know, I'm probably like pinching right now, but that's okay. So, but truly, you all, let's do what we can to start running these businesses, running profitable businesses, being in a position where we can truly build wealth, leave a legacy, and you know, when that dash is over, we can put a smile on our face knowing that we did what we were supposed to be doing.
Wow. Now
Yes.
that is
Mindset shift.
phenomenal. So I have one more question. What
Yes.
is next for Dr. Cozette White? Because you're six-time author. You've got a plethora of businesses and multiple streams of income. What is next for Dr. Cozette White?
Well, what is actually next? I truly have two books, two more books that I am trying. Somebody asked me this morning, but seriously, I have two books that I've been trying to get out. They are both on taxes, and that's probably what I will be doing. I will continue working with our CEOs and our executives as I've always done, and I've been really working with those that are in the tax and accounting industry to help them build profitable businesses such as the one that I've been able to grow. It's been a struggle for some in this industry, going from the brick and mortar over to virtual. So I've been virtual since 2005. I've been working from home since 2005. So it's nothing new to me. The only thing that's new is that I got to stay in the house more. But I've been able to run a successful business all these years simply from working from home and not going outside the office. And that's what will be in the future for Cozette, to assist others that are walking in the same shoes, but just to help them grow their business so that they're bringing in multiple six figures.
Oh, wow. So I know our listeners are on the edge of their seats. They're like, okay, Sakisha and Eric, we've got these nuggets of wisdom. How can I get in contact with Dr. Cozette? So how can they stay in contact with you, Dr. White?
Yes. So you all can, first of all, head over to the website, which is www.myfinancialhome.com. You can find out more about the organization there, My Financial Home. And I didn't say this, but we are in our 20th year of business. September will be 2 years for us. And you can also follow me on all of the social media platforms as Cozette M. White. You can follow me on YouTube, Dr. Cozette M. White. And of course, the new platform, Clubhouse, you can definitely catch me there. So anywhere you can definitely just follow me. I'm friendly. I'm a friendly person. I stay busy, but I do get to the messages that you all send me, or if you email me, I will definitely respond.
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you on behalf of all of our viewers and my husband and myself. Thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. I know that you are a busy businesswoman, and we just want to say thank you. And just a thank you to our listeners. Don't forget, tomorrow night we're going to have another edition of the Business Blueprint edition. We have Shayna Boston joining us from Georgia. So that's going to be an amazing time. She's got a huge announcement that she's going to be sharing with us. To all of you, to all of our couples out there that are in business, make sure you stay connected with us on all forms of social media, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter under Marriage Can Win.
And YouTube.
Oh, yes, and YouTube. And don't forget, to all the couples out there, if you are struggling in your relationship, we are going to have a Struggling to Keep the Vows webinar on Sunday, April 18th. So make sure that you check out our website, and that way you can get all the information about that. And awesome. Our Vow to Victory Summit 2.0, the Business Blueprint Edition, will be coming soon. So make sure you're staying connected with us in regards to that.
And we also like to invite you to come to our Marriage Can Win Academy.
Yes.
So go to marriagecanwinacademy.com and also download the app to your phone, Android and iPhone. You can get the app on your phone.
So if you have any questions about your relationship, or you want the online training, you can do it at your own pace from the privacy of your own home. And we're going to be walking you through it step by step. We're going to be bringing in some guest speakers and lots of phenomenal things. And one more reminder. For those of you listening, we have one spot left for our Making Love Last retreat this September right here in Orlando, Florida. So if you want that last spot, send us an email at marriagecanwin@gmail.com and we'll send you the information. So we want to just thank you guys again for listening. If you know a dynamic guest that, would be great for our show, send us a quick email or DM. We'd love to hear more about them. And thank you again, Dr. Cozette White, for just spending time and pouring into our viewers. Yes. Stay tuned, and we are looking forward. We'll be right back with you tomorrow evening at 6:30 p.m. So until then, make sure that you are the change that you want to see in your